Every Friday evening, the small train station in Boston became unusually quiet just before sunset. Most people rushed home after work, but one young woman always stayed behind. Her name was Olivia, a 28-year-old elementary school teacher who loved reading novels while waiting for the last train. She wore the same light blue coat every Friday, carried the same brown leather bag, and sat on the same wooden bench beneath the old station clock. No one knew why she always waited long after everyone else had left. One rainy Friday, Ethan, a 31-year-old software engineer, missed his train after an unexpected meeting at work. Frustrated, he sat on the empty bench beside Olivia. For several minutes, neither of them spoke. The only sound was the rain tapping softly against the station roof. Finally, Ethan smiled and said, "I guess we're both waiting for something." Olivia looked at him and smiled. "Maybe," she replied. That single word started a conversation that lasted until the final train arrived. They talked about books, family, childhood memories, favorite movies, and the places they still dreamed of visiting. Ethan couldn't remember the last time talking to a stranger had felt so natural. When the train arrived, they boarded different cars. Before the doors closed, Olivia waved and said, "See you next Friday." The following Friday, Ethan returned to the station much earlier than necessary. Olivia was already there, sitting on the same bench with a cup of hot chocolate. She laughed. "I wasn't sure you'd come." "I wasn't sure either," Ethan admitted. From that day forward, every Friday became their favorite day of the week. Sometimes they walked through Boston Common after sunset. Sometimes they watched street musicians perform in Quincy Market. Other times they simply sat together, talking until the station became empty. Winter arrived, covering the city with fresh snow. One evening, while they watched snowflakes fall beneath the station lights, Olivia quietly confessed why she always waited every Friday. Years earlier, her father had promised to return home on a Friday evening after working overseas. He never came back. Ever since then, she had visited the station every Friday, believing that remembering someone you love is another way of keeping them close. Ethan gently held her hand. "You don't have to wait alone anymore." For the first time in years, Olivia cried, not because she was sad, but because someone finally understood her silence. Over the next several months, they created new Friday traditions: coffee before sunset, a walk through the city, dinner at their favorite Italian restaurant, and finally sitting together beneath the old station clock before taking the last train home. One spring afternoon, Ethan received exciting news. His company offered him a dream position in San Francisco. It meant a better career, a higher salary, and a completely new life. But it also meant leaving Olivia behind. For days he couldn't decide what to do. Finally, he met Olivia at the station and told her everything. She smiled softly. "If you stay only because of me," she whispered, "one day you'll regret it. But if we're meant to be together, distance won't change that." A month later, Ethan left Boston. Even though they called each other every day, the distance felt endless. Months passed. Then one Friday evening, Olivia returned to the station as usual. She sat alone beneath the old clock. The train arrived. Passengers stepped onto the platform one by one. Then she saw someone walking toward her with a bouquet of white roses. It was Ethan. He smiled and said, "I realized something. I kept searching for success, but the only place that ever felt like home was wherever you were." Olivia ran into his arms as tears filled her eyes. The passengers around them quietly smiled while the station clock struck 7. From that Friday onward, they never missed another Friday together. Years later, when people asked how they met, Ethan always smiled and answered, "It all began because I missed one train." And Olivia would laugh before adding, "Sometimes the wrong train leads you to the right person."